Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game 3, Ham versus Gammachuu. This is 2023. Uh, I'm joined here here on Tom. We should be getting started here in just a second.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I am very good. How are you
Doing good. Doing good. Looking forward to this game 3 here. Should be a fun one.
Should be good. Yeah. To give a little background as they start their opening routes, this is Game 3, as I mentioned. Both Game 1 and 2 were pretty rough on either side. Game 1, we had Tam miss a required hammer on the Turtle Rock. And Game 2, Gammachuu missed a required Fire Rod in the back of the piece. So I'm wondering if we're going to see most of them do a more cautious full play.
Was it the case in the first two games that they were both trying to go fast and beat their opponent in meta a bit, or was it just bad spots that they both kind of orphaned? Or
I think it was a little, if I recall correctly, Game 1 was a little bit of Tam trying to make up time due to some earlier mistakes, like a death on Balthila, for example. He was in Hammer Medallion mode, 2 items he needed. He got to the front of TR, realized it was Medallion blocked, and just decided to skip it.
okay.
So unlikely that it would have, the hammer would be behind the medallion.
Right, because he would need
checks.
Well, no, I guess he wouldn't need the hammer to open the medallion, would you? Yeah. I still see what you mean.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as this race goes, nothing too exciting yet. Both of them just kind of going through their opening routes. Gamma usually likes to go to Lost Woods into Lumberjack, I believe, and Tam finds the Moon Pearl, right as Gamma does as well.
So they both did what is it called? Check Highlight Island and then go to Saw's Closet real quick. I know that's like a fairly kind of common opener generically in boot starts, but what do you think of that route, that opener?
I used to do that opener actually in open boot start a lot.
Yeah.
Not so much in
I was actually
HMG. Yeah, because it's so much more likely that you have to isolate Eastern in open modes than in HMG, because obviously HMG you have access to pretty much the entirety of Light Road right from the start. So I like to put it off just because you can usually combo it with Eastern. But it's not, it's so quick to get to, it's like it's bad.
Yeah, and there's that clip to get into Eastern too, that rap. Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah.
There's a couple fun ways. So we do see Gamma doing the Lumberjack DMA, which will take him right up to Hera. He's been doing this most races I've seen of his. He checks the Lumberjack, which is always nice to check at some point. And in this mode, you can combo it pretty easily, as you saw with either Mountain or Lost Woods.
Oh wow, we're getting two different.
Doing new DMA.
Yeah. Setups here. And funny thing is, I know neither of them. That's what's fun about glitches,
yeah, the cool thing about this mode is there's so many different ways to do so many different things. Like, you're not missing much doing one DMA over the other. The one Tam did is good for going straight old man, rescue him a while. The one Gamma did obviously lets you combo with Lumberjack, and then there is one, like the old school one, which requires you to fix the camera, so it's a little slow. You don't see people doing that anymore, but
yeah, I don't even know that one. It's the other thing that's cool. I don't been doing this a lot longer than I have, but like the new Muffins map, as it's called, allows a lot of people to jump in and learn this stuff a lot faster than you might have, a year or two ago.
Correct. Yeah, it is a very nice tool to have. So there's a interactive glitch map you can kind of view the different light world, dark world, underworld, and click on an icon and see how you get to that location with various glitches that are tracked. So Tam's Hanning, which is a good way to get from Graveyard Ledge to Link's House, basically, while also collecting money for Zora, usually.
Yeah.
You can also fix your camera when you're doing this clip that Tam did and that Gamma's doing now, if you want to combine it with, like, the back of Escape, but they would need a glove for that, obviously.
Have you noticed, like, so I don't like to be too superstitious about this game in general, but, like, for some reason I feel like I've noticed in glitch scenes like that. I was going to say tons of money shows up early, like tons of the big rupee drops end up, like, in CAC or just, I don't know. I guess Sphere 1 is like 1,600 checks, but I don't know.
I have noticed that. I think I had this conversation with Specs, maybe, when we were counting together with someone, where I had mentioned that I used to grab like 7 bombs out of Graveyard Ledge Cave, but then I stopped doing that because it seemed like every single seed I would leave Kakariko with, you know, hundreds of rupees and like 30 bombs. So
yeah, totally.
I definitely agree. It does seem like I wonder if it's because there's so much available Sphere 1.
Yeah.
It all gets placed. I'm not sure, but
and also because like GT is not junk filled. Maybe I don't know. I'm sure if that matters, honestly, but
it shouldn't.
Like how rich they are.
Yeah. Oh, nice hammer from Tam. So Tam is both hammer and moon pearl now, which is Super Bunny Cave access, if they want to check that.
That's true.
But, I mean, Moon Pearl alone, I guess, is... So, he is the Moon Pearl, so he has a lot more access than just Super Bunny, but I had completely forgotten that they got that in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah. Right. I actually kind of did too. I was like, oh, nice hammer, but no. You can just do
Hammer's still nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this mode is that I like to say there's basically 2 main spheres, which is the entirety of Light World minus a couple one-offs. And then once you have the Moon Pearl, you have the entirety of Dark World, with the exception of a couple one-offs, with like hard item lock things. So there's a lot of items in this mode that you don't even need that you might expect. Glove is only sometimes required, for example.
Yeah, glove is
like
blocks what, like 4 checks or something in the whole game.
Yeah. Checkerboard Cave and Cold Stare and another item in the playlist is pretty much it.
Yeah.
And there are other ways to get those items, but they're not in this rule set.
Yeah, and Tam with the Zora money, actually. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. It's always nice to come up here with Zora money.
For sure.
There are other opportunities to combo. I couldn't see what was on the ledge. Yeah. Little
I guess nothing, because Tam didn't go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple more opportunities to check Zora. So if you come here the first time without enough money, you're not like massively isolating it. Oh, Tam's not saving and quitting. Maybe there was something there. Going to do I assume a swim clip over this ledge. Tam going to Tam swim.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that is a good way to do it.
Yep. There's a couple ways to do this swim clip. You can do it in the opposite direction of the slope or into the slope. I believe Tam is the one that found the way to do it in the opposite direction, I'm going to say. But, yep, there we go. So, basically, you do weird stuff with swimming, and it allows you to swim over land, which ignores all terrain. Nice. So there was a sword on the lumberjack lips.
Oh, okay.
Ignores all terrain and lets you kind of go wherever you want for the most part. In a straight line. You can't, like, turn, unfortunately.
Yeah, what happens? I know that you can't turn around, but what happens when you do? Is it just...
You just
swimming?
Yeah, so if you try and turn around, it cancels the swim clipping state. So you'll still be swimming, but if you're like in terrain, you'll just get stuck.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then same if you try and go like up or down. But if you're on land, you'll hop out. So
Yeah. Sorry, I missed it. What was on Zora? Was that powder?
yes, correct.
Oh, okay. That's
Which is in logic
nice.
too because of the hammer. Powder's
Right.
an interesting one because it requires mirror or hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out. Requires moon pearl, not mirror. Sorry, moon pearl and mirror or hammer.
Moonfall and mirror.
There we go. Jeez. Because the aforementioned you can get everywhere with boot clipping in this game.
Yeah, it used to be. So what was there was a change recently, right before this tournament, where flipper wraps, as they were called, were in logic, but that got removed, I believe.
Correct. Yeah. All.
So powder used to be in logic, pre-hammer.
Yeah. So you can do what's called a map wrap through various ways. Some of them can be done by screwing up a screen transition. Some of them can be done with the mirror. Some can be done with potions, using a red or green potion in the overworld. Basically what it does is it lets you do, if you've ever seen like the funny auto walk thing, it basically is that, but way farther and breaking your camera. So you can use that to get to, powder. You can use it to get to like Turtle Rock entrance, to East Death Mountain, those kind of things without normally being able to. So those are still allowed, but they're not in logic anymore, so you'll never be forced to do them.
Which is nice. I did, when I was learning this mode, one of the earliest seeds I ever played had a, I think it was like a hook shot, a magic bat, which led to a hammer and a truck cave, which blocked the mirror, because of course.
Yeah.
So,
interestingly enough,
I actually kind of like that change.
Yeah, they do make some other required things a lot easier to do if you do know them. So, for example, if you have mirror, you can go to East Death Mountain through mirror clipping, which requires you to do a bunch of mirror transitions to hop out the ledge and kind of walk over the chasm. But because it takes so many mirror transitions, doing a mirror wrap instead is like 5 times as fast.
Oh yeah. Is that a mirror wrap? Basically, you would do it, like similar to how you would get into Turtle Rock, Laser Bridge, and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yep. So you would do it at the
okay.
bottom of the mountain. It would wrap you over to East Death Mountain, and then you just walk into the Super Bunny Cave, which would, one, put you in Super Bunny Cave, and two, fix your camera.
Right, because it's a connector cave, or what's it called, EG2 cave.
Yeah. I always just call them multi-entrance caves.
That makes more sense, actually. I think of it in like the context of cross keys. So.
Yeah. So.
Go left.
Gamma,
there we go.
Little,
go left.
A little
go
further.
left.
Yeah. No.
Go left.
Not right.
Go left.
So
go where the
weird
corner is.
There you go. Yeah. So that's a weird hop. For some reason, it doesn't hop you down far enough unless you're further over. Tam going to Hobo now. So.
Bet you wish you had a shield.
Yep. So people might be wondering, they got Moon Pearl, hammer, sword, etc. Well, Tam did anyway. Really, really early. Why haven't they gone into Dark World yet? And the simple answer to that is no particular reason. It's just item density. Like I mentioned, there's basically 2 giant spheres, so a lot of people will usually clear out the easy stuff in Light World before doing their treks into Dark World.
Another big 300.
Yep.
So, I'm curious. I have a question for you. There is a lot we can do in the Dark World now, especially Thieves Town Boo stuff with the hammer and the sword makes it like pretty enticing.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen some runners or talked to some people that they don't like rush GT, but they try and get into GT if they can do a lot of it, just in case there's progression there, and then leave. Like with a hammer, for example, you can do almost all of GT.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
So GT is always a good option because it has so many items in it, because there's no junk fill. The issue is, and it's really quick to get to, the issue usually is whether or not you want to do that much when it's not in logic fully. So with the hammer, a lot more of it's in logic.
Wait.
Is Tam may be going to dupe that glove.
Oh. Okay.
I will finish explaining GT in here in a second. So Tam is doing a overworld dupe glitch,
This is sick.
which you do a YBA on the screen that the item is on, which is why we saw him like use a potion at the same time he went to the edge of the screen, which basically loads a different map. And so when you pick up the item, it doesn't know you've picked up the item on that screen yet, and so you just screen transition and come back and the item's still there. And in this case, since it's a progressive item, the gloves become the maze.
That's really cool. I've actually never seen that in this tournament, or like ever.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You'll usually only see it for like people will usually only bother if it's like important money or a sword or the bow, just because the mitts aren't really required. They make a couple things easier depending on your item loadout, like if you have the flute or something. But you don't actually need them to get into anything, even the mitts lock locations. So
Yeah.
usually people won't bother duping them because